Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're joining us from. This will be another class in our new product series. My name is Flavia Younger. I am one of the co-founders of Frash. If you're not familiar with Frash, if this is your first experience with us, we are a acoustical manufacturer, or I should say manufacturer of acoustical products. We focus on things that are used for ceilings, walls. We also make dividers and acoustical lighting. So what we will be talking about today is it's very exciting for us. It is a latest product that has gotten a lot of buzz even before we have officially launched it, and it is applicable for wall as well as ceiling use. And of course, it can be a combination of both. What I'm referring to is a product called Linyfelt. It is a folded, you can kind of think of it as a folded mini baffle that has a special hardware that makes it super easy to install, as well as few different heights, as well as many colors, as you know, we work with. So the thing that we'll go over is the installation. I will touch on installation today a little more than we usually do during these things, because it is very different in a sense that the install is very simple, very easy, and could very much affect the final cost of a project in a positive way, since the installation process itself is very quick and easy. I'll talk to you guys a little bit about the customizations, all the different options you have that you can do, and show you a few examples of different ceiling and wall options. All right, so let's first talk about ceilings. So what's beautiful about Linyfelt is that the linear design it's one of those that can kind of blend into place, so you can have miles of it, right, and kind of disappear. You can certainly also make it a feature wall if you start playing around with the different heights, different colors of the products. So the heights, what we refer to, they're all the width of each piece is the same always. The bracket also allows you to put 8 of these on a 2-foot span, so that is the same. But the height of the Linyfelt itself can be changed. There are 4 different ones, so you can either choose something bigger, smaller, or you can kind of alternate the height as you see it here. There's also 34 different colors you can choose from, so certainly you can add another dimension to the look by changing the color as well. Here's just a quick swatch list of all the colors. You know, if you work with us already, you're quite familiar with how this works. You can also even utilize one of our wood print options on Linyfelt as well. So if you're interested in doing something that ends up looking more as a natural product, you can certainly do that. Just a quick touch on the material. It is PET felt, so it's highly sun absorptive and also very sustainable product. I do have a quick question for you, just because, so we can talk at least this way a little bit. So the question is, what do your clients think about the design and aesthetics of a traditional drop ceiling or traditional T-grid ceiling? So I'm just curious to see how, what is the buzz about, traditional drop ceilings. So options, love them. They find them uninspired, necessary evil, and that last one, wish there was something else. So I'll just give you a few minutes to put in your note, and we'll then take a look at it. Okay, about 75% of you responded, and 54% of you say necessary evil, 31 uninspired, and only 8% said that your customers just love them, right? So very, I guess not the most favorite option there, right? So I'd close that. It's just for fun, just gonna see what you guys are thinking, what's happening on that side. So the reason I asked, and what I wanted to talk to you about, and what's really special about Linyfelt, that you can utilize T-grid. You can utilize drop ceiling as the installation method. You can do it, so that means you can retrofit existing T-grid of the grid, or you can install a T-grid, right? So it's one of the least expensive ceiling options, so that makes it really, really attractive. So when we go into installation, I'll show you the brackets and how they work, and they kind of work through all the different options. Super easy to snap on and snap off. And you can also do what you can see in the image in here is that if you want to play around with the direction of the Linyfelt, you can certainly do that. The Linyfelts are sold either in 8-foot lengths, which is the full length, or you can do it in 2x2 or 4x2 sizes, right? So if you're gonna do drop ceiling, then you can have them pre-cut. The other beautiful thing about PET in general, PET felt, is you can do all your final cuts in the field just with the sharp box knife. So let's take a look at a couple walls. You know, the idea is exactly the same. The spike brackets that I mentioned, and I'll show you kind of what those look like, work exact the same way. You can just attach them to a wall and have sort of the same design. You have the same kind of flexibility when it comes to colors and also the widths. And as you probably know, this is all hollow. You know, this is best for acoustics. Also, PET felt in general is really light. So installing this to the sheetrock is really really simple, really easy. Even sheetrock ceiling, you know, you don't have to worry about weight, right? So that's one of the most beautiful things when it comes to really any PET felt product. This is just a quick photo I threw in. I actually probably have better ones now, but the other thing you can do is there's filler options, right? So if you'd like to fill in this gap in between with a PET felt, you can choose an option where you get the strips that they just fit in snugly. You just slide them in and it kind of covers up the hardware. Here we just played around with actually cutting them at an angle. Again, you can do these cuts in the field as well, or you can just fill in the whole space. So this is sort of an idea, you know, how you carry it from the ceiling to walls. There's two different installation, sort of the same thing, right? The hardware is really simple. It goes, it just screws it into the wall. It comes as black or white, or also it can be painted to match the wall, or you can also, as we've said, you can get the filler pieces as well. Okay, so new question. In recent times, have you noticed that there's more new construction projects, or are you working on more remodel refresh projects, or is it somewhere in between? So a lot of you are voting. Thank you guys. I really appreciate you voting. Since we can't talk, you know, I guess the world's opening up a little bit. I actually had 2 business trips last week. So I actually got to see, I think, a couple of you in person. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's faces looking back at me. This is so nice, you know, than sort of talking into the ether, just like we are doing now. But anyway, so very, very little new construction. Only 6% of you guys said you work on a lot of new constructions. Remodel 35, and then 59% said half and half. So it does look like there's definitely more refresher type projects out there. You know, the great thing about Linyfelt is that it's fantastic for that, right? Like we've touched on, you have the ceilings that you can either attach directly to the sheetrock, you can suspend it, or you can use the T-grid if you have a T-grid that you like to notice. And so the T-grid I showed you before, right, that was when you cut it into size and still kind of follow the 2x2, 2x4 look. However, if you want the T-grid to completely disappear, you just install the 8-foot lengths and you'll continue them across the T-grid, so you cover up the T-grid completely. So I'm going to show you a video. It's little. We just filmed it really quickly for you guys in our war room. So it's not, but I think it really kind of helps really well to kind of show you how it goes on. It's sort of behind the scenes kind of a thing. It's actually, so the person that's speaking is Gary Nightingale. He's our lead designer. He's also the designer of Linyfelt. So here it comes.
I'm Gary with Fresh, and I'd like to introduce you to our Linyfelt ceiling family. This is the Linyfelt that will mount to a standard T-grid. Of course, there's also the option to mount our brackets to a sheetrock ceiling as well. But I want to show you the ease of how this gets installed, starting with, we would call it a new construction way of doing it, which is attaching our Linyfelt bracket directly to T-grid, and we'll provide these brackets to you in either black or white. Same thing with the screws, will either be a black base or a white base. And you always have the option for new construction to go back and have your contractor just spray the whole T-grid ceiling. So this will all be blended in and matched in. But once you have your brackets onto the T-grid, you simply just have your Linyfelt, and this will be up in the ceiling, and you just press it in. And the spacing for this particular model allows you 8 on a 2-foot section. So you can either do this on a 2x2, or these come in 8-foot lengths, and you can stretch this across an 8-foot part of your ceiling. If you do happen to mess up on installing the Linyfelt into the brackets, again, because the spike brackets, they're meant to be put in one direction and then not be able to pull out. But if you do mess up and you kind of get the location off, the only way to really do this is to bend the bracket out a little bit on one side, and that allows the Linyfelt to disengage. And then these will bend back into place like that. So once you have that, you can reinstall the piece. Just push it in. So what you end up with is an element like this that's mounted up into the ceiling, hung by wire as any standard T-grid. The other way to mount these brackets is more of a retrofit. So if you have existing T-grid and you'd like to install Linyfelt into the ceiling, we have these little clip-on brackets here. And I have the brackets in black here, but this is our white Linyfelt bracket here. And then we also have these joiner brackets. So this allows you to join the little 12-inch sections together, so you have a continuous run of these brackets. Let me just demonstrate on one little section here. So this hardware is just standard 1/4-20 hardware, which will provide you. And again, you can have your contractor paint over this so it all blends together into one color. So I'm demonstrating here on just a little 36-inch strip, but you can do this on 8-foot long piece as well. So once you have this built up, your T-grid is already up in the ceiling. And these just clip on to the T-grid, like so. And then from there, you just take your Linyfelt pieces, and again, you just clip them into the little spike brackets. Very easy to put up. So if I can show you a finished product. All right, so here's a little 4x4 section that we put up using the retrofit clips. So this was an existing, very tired and old T-grid drop ceiling. We just left the ceiling panels in there. Of course, you can always leave it exposed, take the panels out of there. But here you can see the Linyfelt brackets are just clipped right onto the T-grid, and then you just put the fins right in here. This is actually a different family called Vibe, but it's installed the same way you would install Linyfelt.
All right, so that was the end. I hope that was helpful. You know, it's kind of a nice thing to see, to have something where, you know, you can help you can help your customers show them an option for another thing that's that's not easily available to really kind of change out the space. And the other thing is if they even have drop ceilings like we were talking about, but they're still acoustical, they're struggling still with acoustically, adding the Linyfelt obviously helps to improve with the acoustics. It takes down the reverberation further if that's what they need. But you can certainly do that. So kind of let's take a look at what we're looking at acoustically. So because if you've taken some classes with us on acoustics, it's all about how much of the highly sound absorptive material can you add into the space. That's going to help you quite a bit. And also air cavities, right, or open hollow spaces on the inside really help tremendously. So what's really great about Linyfelt, it's made out of the 9mm PET felt, which has a really high NRC of 0.75, right? It's on a scale from 0 to 1, so it's 0.75 just for the material, right? But because it's folded, you can get more square feet of the material into the space, and you naturally are creating a cavity or hollowness in the space behind it. And I did tell you guys that it's 0.75 for the material, the NRC. Well, I have a really, really good news. We were super excited when we got the testing back for the actual product NRC, right? Again, it goes from 0 to 1, 0 being reflective, right, like glass, and then 1 being meaning 1 as 100% sound absorption, right? So as I mentioned, there's 4 different heights, and I just kind of showing you the shortest one and the tallest one. So the 5-foot-long Linyfelt, the NRC rating actually came back for the ceiling over 1. It's 1.10, and that's sort of a limitation when it comes to what testing can do, but it's really, really high, right? So it's perfect absorption. Wall application came back at 0.95 NRC with the 5-inch Linyfelt. That's really high. As you guys know, it's hard to get numbers that high when you're attaching materials directly to hard substrate like a wall. So these are really, we were super happy with those. And then the shortest one are just 2-inch Linyfelt, right? So it's really not a very big material. It doesn't stick out very far. When you do a ceiling, either T-grid or you kind of suspend it off of a unistrut, you get 0.95. Again, very, very good, really impressive. And then wall application 0.65, right? Again, really good for a wall, right? And for something that's only 2 inches long. Again, you have the hardware, as we were showing you, that attaches directly to the things. You don't have to build false walls and all kinds of different things to get that, to get the air cavity. It automatically is there. Okay, so let's touch a little bit on the money side of things. We didn't intend for it to be the cheapest or inexpensive product. It just kind of worked out that way. So we kind of looked around to see what comparable products cost, and we were very surprised that they are actually coming at much higher. The couple we could find, they're actually made out of 3mm Linyfelt. They only come in maybe 5 or 6 colors, and they oftentimes are 2, sometimes even 3 times more expensive than Linyfelt. So obviously it is not it does cost more than a drop ceiling, right? Obviously, but compared to other comparable products in this space, it's really well priced. I think you guys will be very happy, very impressed with that. Cleaning and disinfection, because this is not a natural material, it's essentially polyester. It doesn't deteriorate, which is great. It makes cleaning and sustainable, cleaning very, very simple. It's really hard to hurt this thing. The other thing is you can actually disinfect it, right? You can spray this with a bleach water mixture or Lysol or some others, and the disinfectants that you can use are the disinfectant that also work on COVID-19 and similar illnesses as well. And it's the way that works. You spray it and you let it dry, and it will do. It will disinfect it for you. As far as sustainability, so it is made out of 55% post-consumer recycled material. it has very low VOC, and it's also 100% recyclable at the end. So that means this is a fantastic product to add lead points on any projects, and it does actually have all the sustainability certificates that we usually get asked for, like Declare, Red List Free, REACH, and HPD. Is all the sustainability pieces that we have. By the way, guys, if you have any questions, you can type those in into the question sections, and I will be happy to answer them. I will open your mics at the end, so you can also ask as well. But I've noticed that sometimes people are unable to unmute themselves on the other end. So if you have something on your mind and you want to start typing it in, please do that, and we will touch on it at the end. So a couple little teasers here, just things that are coming up as well. We are working on a Linyfelt that has a wave brackets that you can see in here, so you can kind of add another kind of a cool, different, organic ceiling, as you see here. And there's also a series of wall dividers that are made out of Linyfelt. There's a straight, wavy, and there's actually a circular option as well that actually creates a space within a space. So if you're really excited, this is a matter of next couple months where you'll be able to see this as well. So that is it for me. That's we kind of got over everything really quickly. We have a few minutes for questions and answers, so please don't be shy. Any questions you have, I'll be happy to answer them. I am going to unmute you guys. I hope you still have to unmute yourself on your end, but you should be able to do that now. Okay, any questions? Okay, this is a quiet crowd. No problem. All right, so anything comes up, you guys know how to get a hold of us. We are happy to help you. I can tell you that this has already been a really popular product. We've already have been quoting it on some really sizable projects. So we are super happy to see that there is this kind of interest for that. Let's see. So let me see. There is actually a question, and I don't know why it's doing this. Okay, let's see if I can enlarge it, because I oftentimes have a hard time seeing it. Okay. Oh, how much time does it take for it to dry after you spray it with disinfectant? So it depends how much you put on. You do actually want to make it wet. So I would recommend to do it, at the tail end of the day, so it's dry by the next day. Especially if you're doing ceilings and walls, you probably will not be touching it, but still, bleach and Lysol, things like that, you want it to evaporate before it comes, before people return. Can you send us the video from today? Yes, I'll be happy to do that. If you can email me your email address, I can certainly do that. My email address is s-as-sam, y as yellow, @fresh.co. How frequently is it to be cleaned? So the traditional cleaning, it's really just a normal standard cleaning. You can vacuum it, you can spot treat it, just like you would really any fabric in offices or open spaces. So whatever process they follow. The good thing is, because it's not like I said, it's not a natural product like wool. It's the dust is really not attracted to it, so it doesn't attract dust to it. And then as far as disinfection, it's probably just follow whatever their protocol is. You can't really hurt it. Usually so for walls and ceilings, it doesn't really get, disinfected as often unless it's a very specialized place. If you're using PT felt as a divider, and we also do a lot of dividers, I do know folks like to just spray it at the end of the day. before they leave. So that's kind of what I've seen them do. Yeah, thanks for the email address. Yeah, I will send you the videos. I'm happy to do that. Any other questions? Okay, so our reps either already do have samples or the samples are on their way of the mini version of the Linyfelt, so you guys can kind of see what it looks like. So definitely reach out to your local rep. They can certainly help you with that. Thank you again. Have a great rest of the day. I really appreciate you jumping on with us and reviewing a new product. Thank you so much. Have a good one.